Welcome to the RealTrending podcast. I'm your host, Tracey Velt. I'm the Senior Director of Data and Content for HousingWire. And today I'd like to welcome Gene Millman. He is the President and CEO of ReColorado. Gene has been in the real estate industry for nearly 40 years as a real estate practitioner, a manager, an owner. He was a member of the board of directors at Trend MLS, serving as a chairman for 3 years. And then following the merger that created Bright MLS, he transitioned to the newly created board of directors, and he served as vice chair. So now he is at the helm of ReColorado since 2020, and he's built a vision to empower a trusted, cooperative, and comprehensive real estate marketplace to position customers for success. So welcome, Gene.
Thank you, Tracey. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here. So thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, so you're doing some great things at ReColorado, and I really just wanted to start out with a little summary of what's happening right now. I know you announced some new partnerships with some different states, and that collaboration is really important to you as the leader of the MLS. So tell me a little bit about what's going on right now.
Well, perfect. Thank you. And I'm actually very impressed you knew our vision statement. So thank you for sharing that with everyone. I love that you did that. Absolutely. We're so excited about these partnerships that we've kind of been working on. Kind of with like-minded MLSs, we kind of say, we have kind of the same business DNA. But really, I think the reason for having these collaborations across a lot of things, as you know, we've got collaborations with the data shares that was recently talked about. We've done collaborations as well with some tech side, as you know, already distributed, MLS Grid, those sort of things, Nestfully, those sort of things as well. But really, for the data share piece, it was really about how do we keep our subscribers as a trusted advisor to a transaction or to the relationships that they built with their clients. A lot of them have had these clients for years if they've been in business. So when those clients have a life event that happens that maybe takes them outside of Colorado into some other areas, we still would love for that agent to be that trusted advisor, that they can come to them. And with these collaborations and data share that we have with different people across the country, at least that way that agent can give them some information, share some of those properties with them, be able to give them a little bit of the insight in there. And then once they make the decision to where they're going to go, that agent can really do that, I think, that personal touch handoff to an agent in that marketplace. So again, first thing is we're keeping them at the trusted advisor, keeping them at the center of this. And then also at the end of the day, we hope that there is some financial reward for that through a referral fee or something like that. But it's really about making sure that we're keeping them as a trusted advisor. Conversely, it could be the other way. Someone in these marketplaces could also be coming to Colorado. And definitely we want to make sure that we can also have leads coming into our system, to our agents and our subscribers here as well. So it's really a two-way street, but it's really about focusing on our subscribers and their relationship with their clients, whether they're buyers or sellers.
Okay. And so I have the states as Georgia, Florida, California, and Kansas. Are you looking at other partnerships with other regional MLSs?
Absolutely. I mean, again, we're open to have a discussion with probably anyone that wants to talk about that and help do something for our shared subscribers that they have and we have. Also, we're looking inside the state too. We're definitely open to doing that within Colorado. So it's a mixture outside Colorado, within Colorado. But I would tell you, we are happy to talk to anyone that would really want to talk about that. Absolutely. We would love to engage in those conversations.
Yeah, that's great. Obviously collaboration is so important in the real estate industry in general. And we're going to jump right into those commission lawsuits because they have a lot of people speculating on the future of the industry. And really, no matter what, things will change. What that is kind of up in the air. So tell me a little bit about what ReColorado is doing to kind of keep pace with this change or stay in front of, possible outcomes.
Sure. I mean, I think, all of us as leaders in any industry, but specifically, the real estate space, there's things you can control and there's things that you cannot control. These lawsuits are probably more out of our control than in our control, as you know. Are we following them? Are we keeping updates on them? Absolutely, and seeing how what changes are going to be affected by those. Absolutely. So we're looking at that. But I think what we're really trying to do is kind of really focus on our subscribers more than anything right now. Because also outside of the legal landscape of the real estate industry, there's an economic change that's happening as well. And I think that's something we equally have to be attuned to with our subscribers. What are they seeing in their marketplace? Engaging with them as we sit and talk to them. So I think those things are truly important to find out. Stop guessing what they want. Let's ask them what they want. And we're doing a lot of things. And we've kind of, I don't think we've coined the phrase, but we kind of feel we've coined it for ReColorado is how do we get this collective intelligence with our subscribers? What are their needs? What are they seeing changes in the marketplace? Definitely policy wise, we've definitely, I think, been ahead of the curve on changing some of our policies that really create that business partnership with our subscribers. And I think that's an important thing to think about. I think it's more important today with all the changes, again, from a legal piece to an economic piece, we have to become better business partners with our subscribers. Their success depends upon our success, and we want to be a part of that success for them. And we want to make sure that we're there with the challenges that they're facing in the marketplace. So again, absolutely, lawsuits are definitely something that we kind of top of mind. But again, those things are somewhat out of our control. Let's focus on the things that are in our control. And I think that's where we having that relationship and that business partner relationship with our subscribers, helping them go through it. Definitely policies are a big part of that and making sure that they have the wherewithal to make a living for their families. And we're extremely focused on that as well.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think there is such a negative tone out there, but there are a lot of opportunities right now to be more transparent, to make, like you said, those policy changes that will help your subscribers, do business no matter what the market is or the legal environment is. Um, and there are changes within like the MLSs, like what, and I don't mean in a negative way, but I want your opinion on what you see as the future, not just of ReColorado, but the future of the MLS moving forward. And what kind of new innovations or new things are on the horizon?
Well, I think how you define yourself as an MLS. I think first you have to understand what your value proposition is, and I think we're all looking for that and working toward that. I mean, for us, we really view ourselves as a data company and a service company. Definitely, with that data, we embed that into technology and bring products to our subscribers. But really, I think right now, and I don't think a lot of people really understand this, Tracey, sometimes, is I truly believe an MLS creates this ecosystem around this transaction. We touch it from the beginning when someone lists a house or buy a house through that whole process within MLS data is used, whether it's used for the appraisal, whether it's used for the search function as someone goes on the MLS and searches. It's used in the mortgage process. All that piece is there. And I think what for the future, define what you think you should be. How does that relate to your subscribers in order for them to give a more seamless experience and a more pleasurable experience to their buyers and sellers? But I really think the MLS of the future is creating, and I know, definitely part of this would be around data. As I said, if you think of yourself as a data company, I think what you have to look at is data now isn't just it's a 4-bedroom, 2.5-bath with a 2-car garage. A holistic property data, I think, is becoming more and more important to our subscribers, to the industry that we look at, because if we can give them all this information really about a property to that subscriber, they can be educated more. They will be able to share that information with their buyers and sellers. And I think that is really kind of goes back to that business partner, but how do we in turn really become a part of that ecosystem of the transaction, and really about how do we use that data? giving them a lot more data today than it is just what we've seen in the past. We need to really, truly have a holistic view of that. I think the MLSs that really grab onto that and move that forward and being able to do that, those are the ones that are going to be ahead of the curve, understanding that value proposition of what they are and how they can take that and really go out. And again, it's the data. Where do we get it from? Terms of use of that data, all those sort of things. But we definitely have to, our data sets have to get richer, more in depth. I think, my dream is that it should be on demand. It should be at a click of a button for a subscriber to click a button, and it opens up that whole database of different things around that property to give them a complete view.
Yeah, I mean, you've been in the industry a long time. So if I remember a time when there was a big debate over how much data should be shared, whether it's with subscribers or with consumers,
Yes.
and how the real estate agent would be disintermediated by that. And in fact, the opposite has happened. A lot of our consumer studies have shown that that people want to use a real estate agent now more than ever. So it's interesting. The industry has been through challenges before, and we came out of that a lot stronger.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think if you truly listen to your subscribers, as I talked about before, and really have mechanisms to engage with them from the brokers or agents that are on the street to getting, we actually do an executive roundtable as well with the executive teams of brokerages. Because there's a different piece of that. Also, we're reaching out to the administrative assistants that are sitting in the offices. I mean, again, there's a lot of people that have their fingers in a pie, I call it, of that transaction. We got to listen to them. Then what we have to do is make sure we can reiterate. We have to be agile. We have to be flexible in getting things done. But most importantly, you have to be able to execute. At the end of the day, it's great to make these promises, but at the end of the day, you've got to be able to execute on those that piece. And I agree. I think more and more, we're not just a B2B type of business with our brokers. I think, Roy, we're part of the B2B to C, that end consumer. We're not getting in the middle of that, but we are, I think, having a role in making sure that we can help that agent have that seamless interaction and that pleasant experience with the subscriber. With the end buyer seller. I think we have to help them facilitate that relationship.
Yeah, and you had mentioned a couple of times that you're really a data company or a technology company. So why don't you tell me a little bit about some of the things that you're working on right now in kind of the innovation space?
Well, definitely, you probably have seen some of the news releases that are out there. I think a part of this as well, and probably digress from your question, but I promise I'll get back to it, Tracey, if I may. I think, as we talked about relationships with other MLSs and the collaboration, like-mindedness, same business DNA. We talked about the engagement and collaboration with our subscribers. But I think there's another piece for the future of MLS, and that is having the same collaboration with vendors out there as well. And I think that, we all have a story to tell. Every MLS, I believe, has a story that they want to tell about their company, about the industry, those sort of things. And so I think as we move forward, as you said, what are the new things? Definitely some of the newer things that we've been very blessed to have formed these partnerships with. And I think it's truly a partnership today. Is Lundy that's out there, which is a voice activated Alexa type of search. A great partner with Justin Lundy. Talk to him. We have the same roadmap of what we think we want to accomplish. So definitely that was something that we launched a few months ago. Definitely that we've talked about the SkySlope, which is really kind of that transaction management piece. But we now are really co-developing other things into that as well. Really giving some insights into the actual contract and those sort of things to better help our subscribers. So I think as we look forward to that, we want to continue on. Definitely data is a big piece of things as well. Making sure we get the rich data sets, make sure how our data is being used, is it being licensed correctly, as we look at that piece of it. So all those pieces are important of what we're doing. Definitely, we are looking for the protection of that data as well as we go forward as well. But I think right now, for us, is really finding from hearing from the feedback we're getting from our subscribers, finding the vendors that we really can have a partnership with, making sure they are solving for the pain points that we're hearing out there. So those are just a couple. There's a couple more announcements we'll probably be making over the upcoming months, but those are probably the most recent ones that we've looked at. And a lot of the things that we're trying to do as well, Tracey, is we also believe in choice for our subscribers. I'm not sure if an MLS picks winners and losers from that. I think what we're trying to also do as we look at different things to have choices, and then our subscribers can pick the one that best fits their business. So a lot of this is around that, but I think it's important with all the collaboration is also really finding vendors that are going to support your vision, support your roadmap, believe in where you're going, and then really having a relationship to help them make their product better. And in some cases, customize it maybe a little more to your marketplace because you know what the needs of your subscribers are. So I really think that type of engagement is important.
And when we talk about data protection, what are some of the big trends that you're hearing out there as it relates to that?
Well, I think data protection is on a couple things. I mean, we're all, I think, keenly aware of 4 or 5 months ago, there was a breach. There was some ransomware in our space. And that's from an MLS vendor, but you're hearing it from the mortgage side. You're hearing it from title sides. You're hearing all that. I think definitely there was, this year has been a tremendous wake-up call. If you were not thinking about that in your business and having that part of your strategy, you're probably a little behind the 8 ball on that. So definitely, I think everyone needs to be looking at how are they protecting their data? What systems do they have? What protocols do they have in their companies about, because most time, many of these breaches are not so much technical breaches, they're people breaches. People do something that in turn allows that ransomware to get into a system. So I think you've got to look at that piece of it. Definitely, we are looking at how do we, if something would happen, making sure that we have redundant systems. Where can we reside that data so that we have to realize we have to make sure that our agents and subscribers can make a living for their families. And if something happens to us, we have a large responsibility. Now, no one's 100% protected from that. I don't think anyone can say, oh, a guarantee we'll never have. But I think you have to say, if it happens, how fast can you react? How fast can you get things up and running so that they can put input into the listings? They input listings. They can search those listings. Can it be syndicated out? All those sort of things. How fast can you get that system back up in some, some database that you have that is a backup system. So, I think we're all working on it. I don't know if any of us perfected it yet, but I can definitely know that that is high on our radar to do that. And I think we have to, and making sure also a part of this is how, people are using our data as well. I think that is another piece of this data protection. Are they using it? Are they reselling it back to other people we don't know about? Are they reselling it back to our agents? I think all that is important too, that we have to be good stewards of that data, because at the end of the day, our brokerages trust us with that. It is their data. It's not ours, but they expect us to protect it, to be good stewards of it, and use it correctly for them to be able to continue to go out and make livings for their families. And I know we take that very seriously. I'm sure there's other MLSs that do, but to me, that is an important piece.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it seems like every other week there's another data breach, not necessarily in real estate even, just companies all across the US.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
yeah. Where do you see the most opportunity for MLSs today?
Well, I think you said it best, Tracey, and I'm glad you have the same mindset that I have. It's easily to be sucked into all the negativity that's out there. And I think we have to be careful that, do we have to be aware of it? Yes. But do we get so deep into it that the fear paralyzes us and we're scared to move? I think that is the worst thing that could happen to all of us. I think you have to acknowledge it. You have to be a realist toward it. But then I believe there's also opportunities that will avail themselves to this. And I think we have to position ourselves for some voids that may come in and the opportunities that comes in. I think one of the things that have really had a mindset toward, and really not so much a shift, but something that kind of we felt that we needed to really embark on. And, definitely a lot of the things that are out there right now is about the buyer agent side of a transaction. And so we have made a conscious effort. And we actually I was having this conversation with one of our vendors the other day. The same thing is, we understand we have to also, we serve listing agents, we serve buying agents, and those who do both, that we have to serve all of our subscribers. So we're really at this point looking at the buyer agent side. How do we help them with their value proposition given the landscape today? And, for me, and I know biased as I am from my 40 years and being a practitioner and owner of a company, the thoughts of ever buying a house without an agent would scare me to death. Even me at 40 years and, think, I'm pretty versed in the industry. I still would never in the world think about going and buying a house without having a real estate professional help me with that process, because they know the pulse of the market. They understand that market. So I would definitely want to do this. So part of what we're looking at is, so how do we help that value proposition with that buyer agent with that? Definitely give them more insights in writing offers, as I talked about with the Sky Slope and the co-development that we're doing with that. All that is to help make sure that they are the true source and center of that transaction, trusted advisor. So how do we make sure they know their value proposition in there? They have a strong value proposition. A buyer agent, just like a selling agent, has to go out and make sure they have the data to give to that seller to price the home right, prices in the marketplace. Well, we also want to make sure that we are giving that same level of high service to that buyer's agent. Understand they are valued in that transaction and helping make sure they can articulate that value to a buyer, why it would be so important for them to use a real estate professional in the transaction. We want them to be able to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Now you have, like you said, spent nearly 40 years you've owned a brokerage, you've, been on boards of MLSs. So I'm sure you've had multiple aha moments during this time, but what is maybe the most impactful one that caused you to pivot or, maybe come up with an idea that, really changed the face of the company? What was your most impactful aha moment?
Wow. I mean, 40 years, I'm trying to go back. I think any of us who have been around for any certain period of time, Tracey as well, we could probably sit down and talk about all the bumps and bruises that we have and those sort of things. But, also definitely there's been some very revealing moments as we've gone through things. I think there probably is a couple aha moments that you looked at. I mean, I think, internally from our company, I think it is really important is to find what people's purpose and passion is. And as I said earlier, first, you have, as a leader, I think, you have to be able to tell a story. You have to paint a picture of what you believe in. And it can't be faked. It has to be coming from the heart to do that. And then you have to be willing to share that vision and reinforce that vision. So I would say first thing for us to really to be able to be proactive and execute, it was really about internally aligning people in right positions. I think we aligned departments within our organization that allowed us to be that nimble, quick. I think we brought in a mentality of, failure isn't the end of the world, but if you're going to fail, you fail forward and you fail fast and you correct and you move on, and you can't be scared of that. And you also, I think in this industry overall, have to learn to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. So I would say internally, I think, embodied some of that and that. But I think that the other aha moment is really when we sat back and really started to focus on what I think I mentioned earlier was this collective intelligent mentality of having this outreach and engagement to our subscribers on different fronts. And what we found that what we thought they wanted, they didn't want. I mean, we had an aha moment the other day. I'm sitting in one of these consumer advisory panels, and we're talking, and say what and we're saying, well, hey, we're thinking about doing this, and it was like a complete I shouldn't say uproar, but they said, oh no, don't do that, please don't do that, and we're like, oh, we thought that was a good thing. They're like, oh no. No, and we went through and got their feedback. Why did they think that? Why were they, didn't think that would be a good idea? All of a sudden you get those moments and you're like, something maybe you thought they wanted, they didn't want, but then also something you never thought they needed. And all of a sudden they come up and are like, well, we really do need that. And it can be the most simplest thing that we're thinking, like, why didn't we think of that? And we can implement that, in 30 days if we need to. And it was one of those things. And I'll just give you an example of that. About a year or so ago, we did one of these outreaches, and they were having trouble uploading photos. Well, we're fortunate to have a great organization, but we have a great technology team. And all of a sudden they said, well, if you're having problems, we can build something for you to upload all your photos, rearrange them, tag them, and then you can just input them into the system. And we literally did that. It was kind of on the shelf already, but like within 4 months, we had it launched, and they're like, oh my God, thanks so much for that. It was those little things. So I think the aha moments, you have some big ones and you have those little ones, but those little ones can be so impactful, and they can totally change your relationship with your subscribers. And so I don't know if that really answered your question, but I think it's, you look for those little moments throughout. There are some big, as I said, and some are little, but they're also impactful that how you move your organization forward. So it's, definitely, I look for those every day if I can find them, those moments that spark something that, you're making a difference somehow. And I think that's all we want. We want to make a difference for our subscribers, that they truly understand that we are here for them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is impactful. There's nothing worse than trying to upload a photo and not being able to do it and getting frustrated. And, that seems like such a simple thing,
Right.
but to have it run smoothly makes all the difference
Right.
for efficiency and frustration wise. So I completely understand that. Well, my final question is just what's next for ReColorado?
Wow, God, there's so many things that I think is next for us. I think that I think it's very important to continue all these collaborations that we spent some time on today, Tracey, and that is from, like I said, from other MLSs in there. I mean, there are some great leaders in our industry right now. I mean, many that I look up to, many I try to emulate and be my mentor as we go through. I continue to want to engage with those that are thinking ahead, that are kind of on the edge, and kind of like us, understanding being comfortable with discomfort. And so we want to continue to have those outreaches on the industry-wide level that we're looking. Again, we're going to continue to engage with our subscribers in every way that we can for that. I think it's also about the vendors as well as we go forward to that. But, I think, and we are all aspiring to make sure that our industry and our subscribers truly understand that the MLS creates effective market system. We make this market work across all these platforms. People don't understand, if you see something on the syndication of a realtor.com or, Zillow or any of those, that data comes from us. We're the ones that aggregate it. We're the ones that normalize and standardize it, and continue to understand how important the MLS plays in, a tremendous industry of the home housing market. And we play an intricate role. And I want to continue to make sure that we can articulate our value, not only to our subscribers, but to the industry. And we truly need to be able to do that. And most importantly, that what we want to continue to focus on is understanding that our subscribers are North Star. They're the ones that at the end of the day, we have to make sure that we're doing the best for them as well. So I think that, and we'll find technology, and we'll find products and we'll give services to support that as we go through. But I think those are kind of, if we can continue to do those things, everything else I think will fall into place for us.
Yeah, what a great note to end on. And I do want to tell our audience that Gene will be speaking at our Vanguard Forum at the Gathering, which is in Scottsdale in April. I think you're speaking on April 22nd. The event is the 21st through the 24th.
Yes,
So,
and again, honored and that for the invitation, and I'm excited to do that and share whatever pearls of wisdom I can with people. I'm happy to do that, but I'm very humbled and honored. So thank you. I appreciate that, Tracey.
well, we're honored as well. And thanks so much for joining the Real Trending podcast.
Thanks so much.